Good afternoon, my YouTube viewers. It's Palestine here. Welcome to my channel. Basically, I'm making this video because I want to let you know that I had my PIP assessment. If you don't know what PIP is the Personal Independence Payment. And so basically, Personal Independence Payment is a payment that the government gives you if you have mobility problems. And so a long time ago, it used to be for mental health, but it's not for mental health anymore. Now it's just mobility problems. But since I have so many medical conditions, having diabetic retinopathy, having to get injections in my eyes, being diabetic, having breast cancer, being on hormone therapy for breast cancer, having to take medication for mental health, and lots of other things, having osteopenia, lots of other things, then I went ahead and applied for PIP. And the reason why I applied for PIP is so if I have to take the bus to get somewhere, I can, and my friends go with me, then I can pay for my friend's bus pass. So I personally am not going to be benefiting from PIP because it's personal independence payment. And so I'm going to have to use the PIP to buy the bus pass for the people that go with me. So that means I would have to buy the bus pass for my boyfriend, and I would have to buy the bus pass for my Sikh friend. And in addition to that, I would also pay my boyfriend to clean my house. And so the reason why is because he is on universal credit, and so he has to show the government that he's working. So I would pay him like 30 pounds every 2 weeks or 60 pounds a month for him to clean my house, because that's how much he gets paid to clean for somebody else, 30 pounds for 2 hours work. And then I would give him that money, and that would go on his income and expenses, so he could show the government that he is actually earning some money, which is what the government wants him to do. So I personally am not going to benefit from the PIP. I'm going to have to spend that PIP, which is what it's for. It's there so you can actually be independent. So I would have to pay for the bus pass for 2 people, and I'd have to pay for my boyfriend to actually clean my apartment, because he cleans my apartment anyway. I clean the kitchen, but he cleans my apartment anyway. So I would just pay him to do that. But I know people who are much healthier than me that get PIP. There's this one guy that I saw him at Oasis, and he's tall and he has ginger hair, and he's really strange. One time I saw him yodeling or something, and he's really strange. And he said that he was writing a book using AI to write a book, and he gets PIP, and then that guy, the one that's alcoholic, that didn't come to my house for dinner, so he stood me up and ghosted me, he gets PIP, and he's much healthier than me. He gets PIP for his depression and for his heart condition, because he's had an operation, I think, to have a stent put in his heart. But I think that, for the most part, was to do with his drinking, because when you drinking like hardens your arteries or something like that. I know another person on PIP, and she's a lot healthier than me, but her mental health is very poor. So I think that she's getting PIP for her mental health, and so she's getting PIP, so she's able to buy cigarettes and alcohol, and she's able to go shopping and take trains and go visit people. I can't do any of that. I'm just staying alive. I mean, I did a budget for like my Excel course, and just for my Excel course, I did a budget, and just to stay alive, just to stay in this tiny little apartment, I have to pay, I have to need about £1,300 a month. And so I don't know if I'm getting that. I think I'm having to dip into my savings to pay for everything that I need to pay for, because I thought my rent was less than £500 a month, but it come to find out that it's £510 a month. So yeah, the money that I make with my sickness benefit and the money that I get working doing my permitted hours, I don't think it even covers all my expenses. I don't think it even covers all my bills. Because like if I want to get a salad in the hospital, well, that's $3.75. Or if I want to get a hot chocolate at Starbucks, that's $3.80. So I'm just scraping by. I'm just staying alive. So I was up this morning. I got up this morning and made a video on my data science channel, and it was about lookups for Excel, if you're interested in that. And then, because I'm doing another course called Intermediate Excel course. So the last course I did was a basic Excel course, and now I'm doing an intermediate Excel course. And so I have to actually study and prepare for the course. And so I study and I prepare for the course, and then I make a video on the course, the lesson that I've studied and prepared for. So if you're interested in Excel, Crystal X has a basic Excel course and an intermediate Excel course that you can take. So I got up this morning at like maybe 6 o'clock, and I made the video for, I think it was lesson 3 of my intermediate Excel course. And then I had to fix breakfast. And then after I fixed breakfast, I had to brush my teeth and put my clothes on. And so by that time that I did all that, it was close to 9 o'clock. And so I was sitting at my table, sitting right here at the table. I had my PIP forms with me. I had my PIP forms. And I had my phone. I had my phone charged up. And so 9 o'clock came and went, and they didn't phone me. And they phoned me at 9:30 and said they were having, she either said it was AI or IT, one of the two. But she said that they were having problems with AI. It was either AI or IT. And so that's why they were late. And the girl said that she would phone me at 10. Well, so I sat there waiting. I sat there at the desk waiting for this call, because you can't do anything, because you have to make sure that when the phone rings, you're able to pick up the phone. And then, at 10 o'clock came and went, and they didn't phone me, so maybe it was like maybe 10:30. They said, oh, well, we want to reschedule this PIP assessment. And I said, well, I don't want to reschedule it because I had to take the day off to actually get this assessment, so I'd like to have the assessment today. And they said, okay, well, we'll phone you back. Of course they didn't phone me back. So 12 o'clock came and went, so it was 3 hours after I was supposed to get my PIP assessment. And finally, I had a piece of chicken while I was waiting for them. And then so after 12, maybe after 12 or something like that, they rang me up and they said, oh, well, we've got somebody who can give you the PIP assessment, and she's just looking at your case file right now. And I said, okay. By that time, I was exhausted because I had been sitting here at my desk at the table for 3 hours waiting for this call, which didn't come. And so you can't really do anything because you have to be available to take the call. So I had my tablet, and I was looking at YouTube videos on my tablet waiting for the call. But by that time, I was just so exhausted that I decided that I was going to lay down. I couldn't stay up anymore. That's how exhausted I was. And so I laid down, and then I guess maybe 12:30 or something, they rang me up and they gave me the PIP assessment. And the PIP assessment lasted an hour. She asked me a lot of questions, and I answered the questions to the best of my ability. And also, I have a friend that has paranoid schizophrenia, and she had to do a PIP assessment as well. And they were asking her what she spent her money on. They never asked me that kind of question. They never asked me what I spent my money on, but I told them that I didn't have any money. They asked me all kinds of questions that were actually on the form, and they asked me questions about my symptoms. They asked me questions about the ailments that I'd actually put on the form, and they asked me questions about my symptoms. And one thing I told her, because she was saying, well, how do you feel? How do you feel? And she said, have you ever thought of taking your own life? And I said, no. I said, not really. I said, but I do worry. I worry about what's going to happen if I get a heart attack or a stroke, or if the cancer comes back. Because you don't ever want to tell them that you want to take your own life, because then that just causes all kind of problems, But I told the girl about my work. I told her that I felt that I didn't get support. I told her that when I got sectioned, that I didn't feel that I got support. And as a result of that, I just sit there and quietly do my work. And if they ask me a question, I'll answer it. But that's the extent of my contact with them. I told her, she asked me about my symptoms. I told her how I get on with my day-to-day life. She asked me what would happen if I went to a doctor's appointment. So I told her what happened when I went to a doctor's appointment. And then so I told her that one time they wanted me to go to a doctor's appointment in another town, and I didn't want to do it, that I refused to do it. And I don't know what's going to happen if I ever have to go to a doctor's appointment in that town, because I've never been there. I have to ring them up and try to get instructions how to get there. They asked me how I felt taking the bus, and I said that I was okay taking the bus, but I don't want to leave the town that I'm in. I said I'm okay if I'm on the bus in the town that I'm in, but I don't want to leave the town that I'm in. And I said that I had a lot of traumatic experiences, and so I'm not really agoraphobic because I have to go to work, but I don't want to leave the town that I'm in. She asked me how I did my shopping, and I said that my boyfriend carries my shopping for me because I can't carry it. She asked me, what else did she ask me? She asked me about cleaning my house, and I said that my boyfriend cleans my house for me. And see, that's one of the things that I want to do with the PIP, is to pay my boyfriend to clean my house, because he cleans my house for me anyway, so I'd like to pay him to clean my house. She asked me about getting to work. I told her that I'm able to go to work because it's a straight path. It's just a straight path, and I don't have to go up any hills or anything. She asked me how far I had to walk, and I said, a mile. I said, I don't know how far it is. I said, maybe it's a mile. And I told her, and then so we had the assessment, and she asked me all these questions. And so I'm just telling you some of the questions that she asked me that I can remember. And I told her about the medication I take, how I told her about my osteopenia, that I have to be really careful that if I fall, I will break a bone. And people have to be careful around me, because of my bones. And then I said that I have problems with my mobility, that I can't reach my toes. And she asked me, do I have symptoms with my diabetes? I said, yes, I have symptoms. I said, I have a yeast infection. And then I said, also, I have infections on my toenails, my big toenails, and my thumb. And I said, and the only thing that I can do is put like a fungal pin on it, as you can see, a fungal pin on it. And I said, because the NHS doesn't do anything about nails anymore. They don't. So that's all I can do is put a fungal nail on it. And I said that I can ask them if they'll give me this medication to kill the fungus. I said, but medication damages your liver. And I said, I already have liver fibrosis. And so we ended the meeting when I told her that. And I did actually make a point of saying I don't have a good quality of life. I'm just surviving. I don't have, and that's what I said, and that's the truth. I don't have a good quality of life. I'm just surviving. And then she said, do you have anything else that you would like to say? And I said, well, one thing I would like to say, I said, is that I have a tendency to repeat myself. And I don't know if that is to do with my mental health issues or what, but a lot of people don't like it if I repeat myself. So I think I should bring this up, that I tend to repeat myself. And she said, oh, it was a pleasure talking to you. So I don't know why she said that. I don't know if she says that to everybody or she really meant it. You never know. And so after that, after I had my PIP assessment, I'm having this cream soda because, there you go, bar cream soda. And I don't get to write it off as an expense either because I'm not monetizing, I'm not self-employed. But I was thirsty because I couldn't really drink anything when I was having the assessment because the assessment lasted an hour. So I had a glass of water, but when I finished the glass of water, I couldn't have anything else. I just had to sit there and just have a dry mouth. And then also because I hadn't been to the bathroom, I couldn't go to the bathroom while I'm having the assessment, and that's an issue. I had to tell her about that, and so obviously I had to rush to the bathroom when the assessment was over, and didn't really make it very well, but that's another issue. And so I'm just telling you what happened on my PIP assessment. So it's like, it was about 1:30 when my PIP assessment was complete. So it was 4.5 hours late. I was supposed to have my PIP assessment at 9. I didn't actually get it until 12:30, so that's 3.5 hours late. And then the PIP assessment lasted an hour. So it's a good thing that I actually asked to have the day off to get this PIP assessment, because if I tried to get the PIP assessment at 9, then definitely I would have been late. Even if they had called me at 9, I still would have been late for work. So it's a good thing that I asked to have the day off. But I'm going to have to work on Friday since I didn't work today because I had a PIP assessment. And so I think that actually concludes my PIP assessment. And also I have like infections on my toe, on my foot, because I think a stone rubbed a sore onto my foot. So I'm hoping that's going to heal, because I have had infections on my feet in the past for which I've had to have antibiotics. So diabetes is a very serious illness, and it makes you prone to infections. So I think that concludes this video. I talked to you about my PIP assessment. I talked to you about some of the questions that they asked that I can remember. I talked to you about my responses. So I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if I'm going to get personal independence payment or not. I know there are people much healthier than me that get it. So just watch this space. See if they're going to give me PIP. I hope so, because when I did my budget for my Excel course, I need probably in the area of £1,300 a month just to keep a roof over my head after I've paid rent, council tax, electricity, phone bill, water bill, food. So if they don't give me the PIP, I know one person in particular is going to be really upset because he's counting on me to buy his bus pass for him. And so I personally am not going to benefit financially from the PIP because I'm going to have to buy the bus passes for 2 people so they can go to handouts and things with me. And then I'm also going to have to pay my boyfriend to clean my flat. So I personally won't benefit. So that's it for this video. I've updated you on the PIP assessment that I had. I told you the questions that they asked that I could remember. I told you my responses. Now, whether or not I get PIP, I don't know. I'll let you know in the future. So thank you so much for watching my video. If you like my video, please like and subscribe. And I'll update you on whether I got PIP as soon as I find out. Thank you for watching.